And what that basically means is that these books are the separate laws within the Sharia. So you have a book of Tahara, you have a book of Salah, you have a book of Zakat, you have a book of Siyam, you have a book of Hajj, you have a book of Transaction. All of these are separate books. فيها كتب قيم. Why did I say earlier what I said is that this is showing the validity of Islam? The reason why is because this is how the Torah was given to the Yahud, and this is how the Injil was given to the Nasara. But they corrupted them. But their religion was put into books. Just like our religion, as you can see here, it's put into books. You have Kitab, Tahara, Kitab, Salah. But our religion has preserved it, whereas theirs has become corrupted. Therefore, if a person from the people from before were to look at the Quran, they will see that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they were to look at the Sharia and the Hadith and the way the scholars have put them together, they will see that this is also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فيها كتب قيمة, meaning in it are derivative Sharia legislative laws and rules that have been split up according to practice. The book of purification. What is purification? What do we mean by purification? In Arabic, it is referred to as tahara, and in English, we call it purification. But technically here, we're talking about two different things. Number one, in this chapter, we're going to be talking about and studying the removal of najasa, izalat al-najasa, wa raf' al-hadath, and to lift impurity. Now, a person might say, well, najasa, okay, if this is the first time you've heard of this word before, najasa refers to impurity. Okay, but we repeated the word impurity. So a person might say, what's the difference between 1 and 2? Why is najasa different to impurity in number 2? Najasa here, we're talking about the actual physical substance, which is najis. So akramakumullah, urine, feces, and blood, perhaps, etc. So what do we do with those things? Every single one of us have it come out of us. How do we clean ourselves from that? This is now the study of Tahara, but also lifting impurity. Now we're about to pray Salat al-Maghrib. Are you pure? So this is the second category of purification, meaning, am I pure ritually speaking? So we're going to be looking at the study of typically wudu, ghusl, and tayammum. The author begins with the first hadith. Now here, I mean, we don't have the riwayah, so the chain of narration has been omitted. This is because everything is agreed upon. But I mean, typically when it comes to books of hadith, this would be something which is studied. Well, the conditions scholar that we had, adala, yes, but that falls under tazkiyah. Adala falls under tazkiyah. Can you please repeat the questions that are asked by in-class students? Yes, I will do, inshallah. Right. So the first hadith is إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, and I'm pretty sure every single one of us have had this hadith before and I've come across it before. I'm sure this is not foreign to any of us. This is the hadith of Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anh, where he said that I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that actions depend upon the intentions. Now here, I just want to, so now we can see a relationship between hadith number 1 and number 2. Hadith number 1, the person needs to have the niyyah. So there's no act of worship which will be accepted unless if the person has niyyah. And then number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept your salah until he goes and, if anyone has broken his wudu, until he goes and makes the wudu. How does he make the wudu? You can't just do it in any way that you want. Therefore here, the second condition for an action to be accepted is that the person needs to have the action which is correct. So can I actually, I haven't written it here, but correct action. Just try and fit it in there if I can. And this is how some of the scholars have explained it when they were talking about Umdah al-Ahkam. The first hadith talks about the importance of the niyyah. Before you do any action that you want to do to get closer to Allah as an act of worship, you have to make sure that you're doing it to please Him and to attain His Jannah. But then the second hadith is actually giving us